he sold the same relic to 4 kings, then fled. The year is 587 AD. The place, Merv, a bustling oasis city on the Silk Road, a jewel shimmering in the sands of what is now Turkmenistan. Merv was a crossroads, a melting pot where fortunes were made and lost on the turn of a camel's hoof. Enter Caius Vindunus, an art dealer of, let's say, flexible morality. Caius was known for procuring the rarest artifacts from the farthest reaches of the known world, catering to the whims of emperors and kings alike. But Caius had a problem only greed could create. He'd promised an artifact of immense spiritual significance, a fragment of the true cross, said to possess miraculous healing powers, to not one, but 4 rival monarchs, King Hormizd IV of Persia, eager to assert his divine right, Khagan Tardu of the Gurktuks, seeking legitimacy among his newly conquered peoples, Emperor Maurus of Byzantium, always on the lookout for holy relics to bolster his authority, and finally, the ambitious King Pulakshin I of the Chalukya dynasty in India. Each king, embroiled in constant border skirmishes and political intrigue with the others, believed they alone possessed the genuine article. And Caius Vindunus, he pocketed their exorbitant payments, whispering promises of divine favor with a smile that could charm the scales off a dragon. But how could one man, no matter how cunning, pull off such an audacious scam? Suspicion began to brew like a desert storm. A Byzantine envoy, traveling through Merv on his way back from the Gurktuk court, overheard whispers in the marketplace. Relic, identical in description to the one Emperor Maurus, now enshrined in Constantinople, was reportedly in the possession of Khagan Tardu. The envoy, a shrewd and observant man named Flavius, immediately dispatched a coded message back to the capital. Emperor Maurus, never one to tolerate deception, launched a discreet investigation. Meanwhile, to the east, King Pulakshin's court astrologers noted an uncanny alignment of the stars, mirroring the prophecy attached to the true cross fragment he possessed. However, similar astrological events were being reported from Persia, creating unease among the Brahmins. Was the relic losing its power, or was something far more sinister afoot? Flavius, the Byzantine envoy, was tasked with discreetly gathering information about Caius Vindunus. He discovered a trail of lavish spending, secret bank accounts in obscure trading posts, and a pattern of disappearing artisans who had allegedly authenticated the relic for each king. The net was closing in, but Caius remained one step ahead, his movements as unpredictable as the shifting sands of the desert. The question now was not just about the authenticity of the relic, but the very stability of the region. The investigation took a shocking turn with the discovery of a hidden workshop just outside Merv. Byzantine agents, led by the relentless Flavius, raided the facility, expecting to find evidence of forgery. What they found was far more bizarre. A room filled with identical wooden fragments, crude tools, and a peculiar type of resin used to artificially age the wood. It became clear that Caius hadn't merely commissioned the relics. He had personally overseen their creation, meticulously crafting them to match ancient descriptions. But the biggest revelation came from a captured artisan, a trembling old man who confessed that the wood itself was not some common timber. It was, he claimed, sourced from a single ancient olive tree located in a remote grove near Antioch. A tree rumored to have sprung from the very ground where the original cross stood. This detail, seemingly insignificant, ignited a firestorm of theological and political implications. Was Caius simply a conman, or was he unwittingly involved in something far greater, something that could shatter the foundations of faith and empire? If the relics were not divinely imbued, their power lay in their connection to a tangible earthly source, a source that could be exploited, controlled, and even destroyed. As the truth unraveled, the stakes escalated dramatically. King Hormizd, upon learning of the forgeries, flew into a rage, threatening war against Byzantium and the Gurktuks, accusing them of conspiring to undermine his authority. Kagantardu, equally incensed, dispatched assassins to track down Caius, determined to extract revenge for the humiliation he had suffered. Emperor Maurus, ever the pragmatist, saw an opportunity. He realized that by controlling the source of the relics, the ancient olive tree, he could exert unprecedented influence over his rivals, potentially brokering a lasting peace or even establishing Byzantine dominance. Flavius, now driven by a thirst for justice and a desire to prove his loyalty to the emperor, intensified his pursuit of Caius. He followed a trail of cryptic messages and coded ledgers, leading him deeper into the labyrinthine alleys of Merv and beyond, into the treacherous deserts of Central Asia. Time was running out. Caius, sensing the imminent collapse of his carefully constructed empire of lies, prepared to flee, leaving behind a trail of betrayed kings and shattered illusions. But where could he run, and what would he do with the immense fortune he had amassed through his deception? The final act of this historical drama unfolded not in a grand palace or on a battlefield, but in a dusty caravanserai on the outskirts of Samarkand. Flavius, after weeks of relentless pursuit, finally cornered Caius Vindonus, but instead of a desperate fugitive, he found a strangely serene figure, calmly sipping tea and awaiting his fate. Caius confessed to everything, not with remorse, but with a detached amusement, viewing the entire affair as a grand artistic experiment in human gullibility. He revealed that he had used the money to establish a school for artists in Alexandria, a place where creativity and critical thinking could flourish, free from the constraints of religious dogma and political manipulation. But the final, chilling irony was this: the ancient olive tree, the source of all the relics, had been struck by lightning and burned to the ground just weeks before Caius's capture. The power of the relics, real or imagined, was now extinguished, leaving behind a void of uncertainty and a legacy of deception. Caius Vindonus vanished into the shadows, his fate unknown. Some say he became a wandering philosopher, preaching the virtues of skepticism. Others claim he resurfaced in distant lands, peddling new illusions to unsuspecting rulers. But one thing remains certain: the tale of the merchant who sold the same relic to 4 kings serves as a timeless reminder of the enduring power of belief, the seductive allure of deception, and the precarious balance between faith and fraud.